What quietly unfolds this week is not a single scandal or confrontation, but a slow-burning emotional fracture spreading through Fairmont Crest, beginning with Naomi and rippling outward until nearly every relationship feels slightly off balance, slightly strained, as though the community itself senses that something fundamental is being withheld. Naomi's new normal is not a state of healing or acceptance, but a carefully constructed illusion. She moves through her family with practiced calm, offering reassurance where none truly exists, performing strength as a form of protection rather than honesty. The truth about her BRCA result sits inside her like a sealed room she refuses to open, not because she denies what it means, but because she understands all too well what it would unleash in a family already drowning in fear, grief, and responsibility. Naomi chooses silence as an act of control. Her grandmother's chemotherapy has turned every conversation into a balancing act between hope and terror, and her mother's own genetic reality is like an unspoken accusation in the air. Naomi knows that revealing her status would not simply add another problem to the table. It would rearrange the emotional hierarchy of the household, forcing Anita and Donnie to confront guilt they neither deserve nor could survive unscathed. By keeping the truth to herself, Naomi believes she's sparing them, even as the cost of that decision quietly isolates her. Yet the longer she holds onto this secret, the more it begins to reshape her internal landscape. Naomi is no longer just hiding medical information. She's renegotiating her entire future in silence. Questions about motherhood, legacy, and bodily autonomy press in on her from all sides, unanswered and unresolved. The possibility that she may have already begun treatment, sought a discreet specialist, or made a decision about her fertility without telling anyone introduces a deeper layer of tension. This is no longer about fear alone, but about agency. Naomi may be trying to reclaim control over a body that genetics has betrayed, even if that means redefining what love, marriage, and family will look like going forward. Jacob, meanwhile, remains on the outside of this inner reckoning, unaware that the woman he loves is carrying a truth that could fundamentally alter their marriage. Naomi's hope that she can protect him by staying silent is fragile at best. If Jacob learns the truth from anyone other than Naomi herself, the damage will not come from the BRCA result, but from the realization that she did not trust him enough to share it. His reaction could become a fault line, forcing him to choose between defending his wife and confronting the powerful emotional machinery of the Dupree family. Naomi is not alone in this, even if she insists on being so, and the longer she pretends otherwise, the closer she moves toward a reckoning she cannot control. That same pattern of emotional misalignment echoes in the growing conflict between Court and Ted, where unresolved guilt and misplaced loyalty threaten to sever the bond between father and daughter. Ted's insistence that the season of apologies is over feels less like strength and more like exhaustion masquerading as authority. He wants resolution, not because the wounds have healed, but because he no longer wants to look at them. His refusal to acknowledge Cott's pain regarding Eva suggests a deeper truth. Ted may be defending Eva out of understanding, but out of unresolved guilt from the past, a need to compensate for something he believes he failed to give her. In doing so, he inadvertently invalidates Cott's boundaries, framing her refusal to engage as stubbornness rather than self-preservation. Cott, on the other hand, is not rebelling for the sake of defiance. Her resistance is rooted in an instinctive understanding that proximity to Eva reopens emotional wounds she is not prepared to bleed from again. When Ted sides with Eva, he's not merely choosing one perspective over another. He's telling Cott that her pain is negotiable. The impending confrontation between them carries the potential for permanent damage, whether through an explosive argument, a symbolic rejection, or a quiet emotional withdrawal that proves far more devastating than any dramatic outburst. While these personal conflicts simmer, a more overt battle takes shape within the world of law enforcement, where Jacob's clash with Marcel and Elon introduces questions of integrity, power, and complicity. Jacob's discomfort with their methods is not theoretical, it is visceral. He senses that something is being deliberately obscured, that justice is being selectively applied, particularly where Joey is concerned. Whether the disagreement centers on Joey himself or on the increasingly suspicious closeness between Marcel and Leslie, the implication is the same. Lines have been crossed, and Jacob is no longer willing to look the other way. His insistence on transparency isolates him, positioning him as both a moral obstacle and a potential liability. If Marcel and Elon are indeed protecting Joey outside the bounds of the law, then Jacob's presence becomes dangerous, not just professionally, but personally. The possibility that Leslie is being used, whether knowingly or not, adds another layer of unease. What appears on the surface as a personal relationship may in fact be a calculated distraction, designed to mask financial crimes or manipulate investigative outcomes. In this triangle of mistrust, the inevitable confrontation will force each man to reveal where his loyalty truly lies, and whether justice remains their shared goal or merely a convenient facade. Elsewhere in the community, a quieter but no less significant rebellion unfolds within Martin and Smitty's household. Tyrell's rejection of the cotillion tradition initially appears to be a simple generational conflict, influenced by his girlfriend's progressive views. Yet beneath that explanation lies a deeper unease. Traditions are not neutral. They are containers for expectation, identity, and conformity. By refusing to participate, Tyrell may be signaling a discomfort with roles he feels forced to perform, or a truth about himself he is not yet ready to articulate. Martin's fear does not stem solely from defiance, but from uncertainty. He senses that Tyrell's resistance is not about a single event, but about a larger refusal to fit neatly into a predefined mold. Smitty's response, measured yet revealing, suggests a willingness to adapt, even as she surprises both herself and Martin by requesting Tyrell as her escort. That choice reframes the issue entirely, transforming rebellion into intimacy and forcing the family to confront what tradition truly means when stripped of obligation. Finally, the reappearance of Keel introduces a new axis of instability, particularly as his absence raises unanswered questions, and his return coincides with shifting romantic dynamics. Nicole's growing closeness with Carlton suggests that whatever once existed with Keel may no longer hold the same emotional weight. Yet Keel's re-entry into the picture, aided by Vanessa's sudden offer of help, complicates matters considerably. Vanessa's involvement is never neutral. Her interest in Keel hints at ulterior motives, whether tied to her clinic, her more shadowy enterprises, or a strategic attempt to entangle herself in yet another vulnerable situation. What she wants from Keel remains unclear, but history suggests it is rarely altruism alone. As these threads converge, the atmosphere in Fairmont Crest grows heavier, charged with secrets, shifting alliances, and decisions deferred for too long. Taken together, these storylines reveal a community on the brink of emotional and moral realignment. Secrets meant to protect are becoming sources of isolation. Loyalty, once assumed, is being tested under the weight of guilt and ambition. Each character stands at the edge of a choice, whether to continue performing stability or to confront the truths that threaten to dismantle it. The question is no longer whether these secrets will come out, but how much damage will be done when they finally do, and who will still be standing when the illusion of normalcy finally collapses.